Hey, what's up guys? Hope you're having a great Friday. I really briefly wanted to chime in on some of the stuff revolving around the Darth Plagueis concept art and the reveal from the Acolyte. Again guys, this is official concept art of what Darth Plagueis was supposed to look like for the Acolyte series. In the series, we only saw him for a few brief seconds as he was peering out of a cave on a world that we all believe now to be Beldemnik. Although the world itself is never named in the Acolyte, it has a ton of similarities from Beldemnik from Legends continuity. And of course, Beldemnik plays a fairly prominent role in the beginning of the Darth Plagueis novel, being a place to mine cortosis. In fact, the Darth Plagueis novel actually opens up with Plagueis and Tenebris on a mission in Beldemnik, a cave specifically, which we'll get into a little bit more later. So, a lot of people are debating the quality of this concept art of Darth Plagueis. Now, all of you already know that I'm not a major fan of the Acolyte, nor am I a fan of the way that Darth Plagueis was introduced in the Acolyte. With all of that said though, the reaction of this concept art of Darth Plagueis has been mixed to say the very best. A lot of people have been pointing out that Darth Plagueis in the concept art is holding his lightsaber in his right hand, where if you read the novel very carefully, it becomes abundantly clear in his only duel with another Sith Lord, or anybody in the novel for that matter, in Darth Venomous, that Plagueis is indeed left-handed. It's a small detail and overall fairly unimportant, but I just thought it was something worth mentioning, and something that a lot of people have pointed out. Obviously, I don't think it's a big deal at all that Plagueis is using his right hand with the lightsaber. I just thought it was a fun little Star Wars fact that I wanted to share. In reality, personally, I find myself kind of liking this concept art. Again, this is very much the early stages, and in terms of the actual character design of Darth Plagueis in the Acolyte, I've said it before, but I think he looks great. My issue with the Acolyte was not Darth Plagueis' appearance whatsoever. It was rather the manner in which he was introduced, which I think leads into another interesting conversation that's happening, which is, what exactly do we mean by we don't like the way Darth Plagueis was introduced simply peering out of a cave? Many have said before that no one that has ever read a Darth Plagueis novel would say that this is something that he would never do. And while on the surface this seems like a pretty positive point and a really good one, I do have something that I would like to reply with. While it's true that the first novel of the Darth Plagueis book does happen in a cave in Beldemnik, this is never really where Plagueis is shown to be residing. In fact, he doesn't even live on his homeworld of Moonalist anymore, but it is said that he holds a private island on one of the moons on Moonalist, and on that island he has a mansion where behind the mansion is actually his laboratory where he spends the bulk of his time. When he's not doing this, he's typically in a penthouse on Coruscant. While of course it's insane to say that Darth Plagueis should never appear in a cave whatsoever, I think that's missing the overall point. I think our issue with Darth Plagueis is more how the character is introduced rather than strictly his location speaking. Darth Plagueis is an evil Sith scientist madman, and I think that just having him appear in a cave as a sort of creepy voyeur is a pretty poor way to illustrate that. That's like saying if Thanos doesn't show up in his first scene absolutely pining for Lady Death, then that's not Thanos. Obviously, that's not a fair comparison or a fair introduction to the character. And while it's true that Darth Plagueis did explore caves, it's not an integral part to who the character is, which I would say that's the purpose of the scene. But moving on to the actual design of Darth Plagueis, I actually like the second image a lot. The first image of him in a cave is of course what we got, and I think the second one is a lot more bold. Plagueis looks to be dressed like an aristocrat here. His lightsaber appears to be made of fine materials. He looks like a wealthy, connected businessman and scientist. He also looks like the moons visually that we see in the prequel era. Darth Plagueis is supposed to be around 7 feet tall, even though his height is never explicitly mentioned in the book. He's supposed to be a large, slender, gaunt figure, someone whose appearance is a conundrum. He can even appear frail at times, when in reality, what lies below the surface is much more dangerous. So guys, that's sort of my brief opinion on the whole situation. In actuality, I really like the second image of Darth Plagueis concept art. Again, take it as it is, this is very much concept and not the reality put into the live action shooting. But in terms of what they're trying to portray here, again, a simple concept, I actually like it. Of course, Plagueis would go back and forth between his Sith robes, but anyway guys, I want to hear what you think. What are your thoughts on this whole Darth Plagueis debate going around? Love you guys so much, thanks for watching the video, and have a great one.